Hey everybody, Jam Creates here, doing another video on the ride home from work. Thought today I would talk about something, interesting to me, something I was thinking about. Yesterday I did that video about the Cowboy Bebop remake and about a lot of these other remakes and about 2D animation and 3D animation and all this different stuff, live action remakes and stuff. And I thought I would talk about something else that's going on in the nerd world, I guess we'll call it. Patrick Stewart, it was announced a while ago, so, I'm a little late to the party on this as far as reaction videos go. But Patrick Stewart announced that, it was announced that Patrick Stewart will be reprising the role of Jean-Luc Picard in a new series. I'm very excited to hear that. As I said yesterday, I'm an optimist, so part of me is really hoping that it's going to be fantastic. But honestly, if you want to know the truth is I didn't necessarily need a new Star Trek series to be a Picard show. Truthfully, what I really wanted, if you want to go back far enough, right after Star Trek Nemesis came out, which I know a lot of people don't like that movie, and that's fine, whatever. But what I loved that movie did was it set up so much possibilities for the future. And I don't know if this is something they will address in this new Picard show. Maybe they will, I hope. But my real hope was that they were going to do a new series with the Titan and with Riker taking his ship and his new crew. Maybe have a few holdovers or whatever, but, and do a whole new show of them. And one of the things that I thought would be really interesting to explore would be the fact that the Romulans basically don't have a government at the end of that movie. Their entire Senate is killed, and Shinzon takes over the Romulan Empire, and then at the end of the movie, he's killed. And what does that mean? That means there's literally no Romulan government. Now, at the end of the movie, they kind of make it feel a little like, maybe the Romulans are finally ready to come to the table and be part of the, galactic community, if you will, and be friendly with the Federation since the Federation helped them. But with their history, who knows what would happen? My guess would be a lot more skullduggery, but you never know. Hey, maybe they do come to the table. They do have, a shared lineage with the Vulcans. So you never know. Maybe they would. Just in case you couldn't tell, this may be the nerdiest video I've done so far. But I'm saying, there was just so many opportunities for things to be further explored in the next gen universe. And instead they decided to do, when they finally did decide to do a new Star Trek series, honestly, because what they did was they made the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, which honestly I don't like. They just are not Star Trek to me. They're just not. They don't have the same heart, the same personality, the same intellect that Star Trek generally has. I just don't. They're fine action movies, but they're not Star Trek movies. To me, I always felt like watching those that it was clear. And J.J. Abrams always said this. He was a much bigger Star Wars fan than he was a Star Trek fan. And he only took over he only did the Star Trek movies because, it was the closest thing he was going to get. Well, now he's doing Star Wars movies, and so he made his Star Trek films kind of feel like Star Wars-y. They weren't Star Trek enough. And, so they did those and they were successful. So whatever, maybe I'm wrong. It's fine. I'm okay with being wrong. But then they announced Star Trek Discovery, and I was hyped. I'm like, yes, a new Star Trek show. Finally, Star Trek on television, because I feel like that's where Star Trek really belongs. It's a long-form story. It's not a movie length property. To me, it's a more of a television show, of a series type property. And then they started coming out with stuff about Discovery, and first and foremost, the fact that it was going to be exclusive to their streaming service, which just ticked me off. Like, maybe one day I'll do a video about how apparently the future is every single network in the world is going to have their own streaming service and expect you to pay monthly for it, which will end up probably costing more than you pay for your cable bill that you are wanting to get rid of now, if you haven't already. That's a whole nother story. So my hype for that show grew less and less as it got closer and closer, to the point where I eventually just didn't even watch it. Yes, I freely admit I dislike the show and I've never watched it. You can call me whatever you want to call me for that. That's fine. It didn't interest me. That's the problem. It was a Star Trek show that didn't pull in the interest of this Star Trek fan. It didn't pull me in enough to make me go out of my way to watch it. And part of it was I wasn't really feeling it. And the other part of it was there's too many hurdles. Too many hurdles to go through for me to watch your show. And it's not a show I had to watch anyway. If they were like, dude, we're doing a Deep Space Nine, season 8, we're bringing it back, I would be, yes, I need to watch this. If it was a Next Generation season 8, I would be like, yes, I need to watch this. It's not what it was. They decided to go into the past, which is like, why are you doing this? Like, people ripped on Enterprise because it took place before the original Trek, and honestly, I enjoyed Enterprise. I liked Enterprise, but I understood people's problem with going back further and now changing history that's already been established. And it's the same thing with this. I know it takes place in the Abrams verse, but that alone annoys me. The fact that there's now multiple different Star Trek universes, that's just irritating. And this new Picard show, where is it going to take place? In what universe? Is he going to be in the JJ verse? Because if that's the case, I don't know that I'm even going to want to watch that. I will watch it just out of sheer curiosity because, it's Picard and he's back. But I just don't feel like, I don't know. I'm very nervous with what they're going to do with it. Will they bring anybody else from the TNG cast back? Or will it be, no, this is Picard getting pulled into an alternate dimension, and he's going to meet the other Picard, who's going to be played by some dude who's much younger and has a full head of hair or something, and that's fine for an episode, but I don't need a whole series for that. Like, we've had Picard meet other Picards already, crap. Nemesis was Picard up against himself because Shinzon was a clone of Picard. That was the whole point of the movie, was that he was matched against himself, but himself who was raised in a much harsher environment growing up and was trained to be a killer. So I don't know. I feel like the Picard show, I'm definitely worried. I hope it's going to be good. I really hope that Patrick Stewart will not allow them to make a lousy show. I hope that he'll be in there and he'll tell them, no, this is not what Picard would do. This is what Picard would do. And that they will listen to him. Unlike Mark Hamill and Rian Johnson, where he just didn't listen to anything Mark Hamill had to say about the character. But that's another video for another day. I'm going to go. This is just a quick one. I figured I would just check in with you guys and say what's up and talk about Star Trek. So if any of you guys like Star Trek or whatever, let me know. Follow me along, hit me up in the comments, let me know. Follow me on Twitter @jam_creates. Like, subscribe, jingle that bell for notifications. And that's it. I'll see you later. I'm out.